continuing with our quick breads. We're going to make Irish soda bread. And Irish soda bread is leavened with baking soda instead of baking powder. These are two of the major chemical leaveners, or the things that the ingredients that make things rise. And the reason that we're using baking soda instead of baking powder is that we're using soured milk. Some recipes call for buttermilk, and in fact, sometimes you don't have buttermilk at home or wherever you are, even in your commercial kitchen, and so you can make soured milk by substituting a ½ ounce of white vinegar for every 7½ ounces of milk that you use. So in fact, we have a pound, we're using 16 ounces, a pound of milk, and what we've done is subtracted 1 ounce from that, so it's actually 15 ounces of milk and 1 ounce of vinegar, creating our pound of buttermilk or soured milk. So you just let that sit in the refrigerator if you're not doing it right away, because the ingredients that we're adding today have to be cold. Again, we're doing the biscuit method. So we have our cold buttermilk, and we have our beaten egg, and we're not going to add the beaten egg to the buttermilk right away because the vinegar will then help coagulate the egg. The egg is made out of protein, and we don't want that egg to quote-unquote cook in here, so we're going to do that just when we need it. So what we have, again, is 1 pound, 6 ounces of all-purpose flour. We have 3 ounces of sugar. We have a ½ ounce of brown sugar, which isn't necessarily a usual ingredient in Irish soda bread, but we're adding a little depth here. And we're adding 1 1/4 teaspoon of our baking soda and a teaspoon of salt. Now, once you're adding the brown sugar has a little bit of moisture to it, and our baking soda works as soon as it's exposed to moisture. So what you want to do is mix this and then just keep going, because if you make this ahead of time, we're going to start using the action of the baking soda, and then the bread won't rise as much. So we want this to be a huge loaf when we're done. So what I'm going to do is use my hands to mix this and crush the brown sugar so it mixes. Sometimes, depending on where you're living, the brown sugar will get hard, and so you want to make sure that you don't have any hard lumps in here. And this is one way of doing it with your hands. There's not a whole lot of brown sugar in here, but we just want to make sure that it's well mixed, as well as the mixed into the ingredients with the flour, and so there's quite a bit of flour compared. Now again, I've used my scale to measure these ingredients rather than volume, so the recipes that I include with my lectures and videos are always in ounces and pounds rather than cups. So we're going good here. This takes a bit of time, but we're good. And now we're going to use the biscuit method, which is what you do for scones as well. And I'm going to cut in the cold butter. Now notice the butter here has been cut into small cubes first, and that helps. You want to start off with fat, in this case, that are equal shapes, so that it cuts in evenly. So we're going to do this for a bit. And again, you don't have very much butter in here. And again, this is the advantage of using this pastry blender with the long wires, because you have a little bit of food that gets on there, kind of cakes on there, but it's real easy to clean, and it doesn't get all up in near the handle. So I like this style. And I'm turning the bowl, so I've become a human machine here, mixer, and I just want to keep this doing it. So I don't keep doing it in one spot like this. We want to do it evenly. The idea is we're doing the turning of the bowl to create an even mixture, and we want small bits of butter coated with flour, and we want these to be a little smaller. We want this to be somewhat mealy, so we're doing this. And you don't want to, some people use their fingers to cut in the butter, but some people's body temperature runs hotter than others, and sometimes they melt the butter. So this way, consistency is one of the things that we want. So in this case, I think using a pastry blender works well. Okay, now we have the butter. You really can't see that anymore. You feel it a little bit, but you can't see it, and so that means we're done. The next thing is we're going to add 6 ounces of raisins. And again, we'll just mix this in. The raisins are stuck together. You can feel that, and you can take them apart.